Welcome everyone, and we are back to Top Rope Talk. This is the sniper himself, Denzel Snipes, along with the sports agent himself, Sean Russey. I am back from covering the Super Bowl 60. Those of you all who watched last night, it was a phenomenal game to some of you. It was a bummer to the rest of you. But no, everything was really great. It was perfect. We made a bunch of great connects, shot some great content, and so now we're just catching up. This is our catch up week. So with that being said, follow us on all of our great platforms on YouTube, Facebook, X. Also, we have the 2-for-1 special on TikTok as well at Sideline Sports and Sideline One Sports as well. And we're also on Instagram too. You can catch all of our content and follow some of our LinkedIn's as well. We're uploading some of our content on there from Super Bowl week. And yeah, and again, oh, and by the way, definitely tune in. Definitely tune in to two shows in particular. Tomorrow night, it will be the Sideline Sports Show, in which we are going to talk about Super Bowl week as well as the game last night. Dave DeRocher is going to go on. He's going to go bananas because his team won. And then also tune into his show, Hawk Talk, with Dave DeRocher and and Walter Thurman III. Hawk Talks, the Seahawks show. Hawks Nation, you did it. The 12s, you did it. 12th man, you did it. So this is the show you need to be tuning into. You can catch that one there on YouTube. That's Hawk Talk, HAWK TAWK. And so with that being said, Sean, how's everything been, man?
No, everything's going good, man. How are you?
Doing good, doing great, man. Just decompressing from the week and everything, and then I gotta be on a plane to New York City here in about another week and a half. So let's see. We're going to go ahead on and go right into our Raw preview for tonight. Tonight is the 9th. It is the 9th. It's the 9th. It is. Yep. So for tonight's preview, well, and we know that these Raw shows tend to have a lot of surprises and everything like that. But two things that we can look forward to is our World Tag Team Championship. The Usos will defend against the Alpha Academy. So, Sean, can Alpha Academy score the biggest win of their careers tonight?
It's interesting to see them put up in this type of match. I feel like it's going to be a decent match. I don't know. It feels like if they're going to win it, it's going to be some sort of outside interference, or maybe we get a heel turn we're not expecting or had been expecting, and it comes late.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that it's going to be, because I don't think you should break the Usos up just yet. They just relatively got back together, And don't forget, the purpose was to revive the tag team division. So with that being said, I expect them to retain tonight, though it will be a good match. Following this one, Maxine Dupree is assuming I saw the previews. I don't know if it's an official match or just a confrontation, but between Maxine Dupree and Natalya, Maxine vows to break Natalya's ankle tonight. Sean, your thoughts about it?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think Natalya will pick up a cheap win somehow or another, though. It'd be too early in her heel run to take a loss.
Indeed. I think what has to happen is, now I don't expect this thing to go on until WrestleMania, and if so, it's going to be on the lower end of the card. So with that being said, I expect Natalya to kind of not necessarily put her in a place, but get the advantage tonight, and then maybe Maxine gets her back next week. But I expect this match to culminate at Elimination Chamber. So with that being said, we'll actually go on to our next topic. And this was something that, as you saw from the headline, so Braun Breaker actually had hernia surgery, and he's going to miss significant time. Now, Sean, we know the real reason why he was supposed to win the Rumble, but didn't. Now we know the real reason why he got eliminated so fast.
Yeah, and obviously, I think they left it open to be Seth potentially. I've heard that maybe they're going to go with Finn Balor there and just say it was Breaker that took his spot coming back from suspension. But hopefully it's one of those 4 to 6 weeks things, so he could still have a Mania match. But I it doesn't seem like he'll be out past him, but it definitely you can't let him win the Rumble when there's going to be no ability to have him there for the build up. I know there will be some argument, but Roman's schedule was released. And it looks like he's going to be there for 6 or 7 of the 11 Raws leading up to the build up. So
Yeah.
you can't have someone that's not going to be there for the build up.
Very true indeed. And with which, by the way, I came across Seth Rollins at Radio Row. Actually, several of them. I came across MJF. Took pics with Darby Allin and some other AEW stars. It was great. But with that being said, as far and now this also explains why he was so limited leading up to the Royal Rumble. Just kind of popping in here and there and just like interfering or something like that, but never. I mean, he didn't really have any full-on matches like that leading up to the Rumble.
Only really the CM Punk match, and that went about 15 minutes. So they've definitely been protecting him. I wonder if they take him off TV or not, or if he'll come back in like a week or two and at least just be on the side again of the ring with the Vision or not.
Yeah, understandably so. I mean, as of right now, it's projected that Reigns is going to win the title at Mania and set up him versus Rollins at SummerSlam. That sound about right?
I think they could go either way. I think it could be Rollins. I think it could be Cody, especially with the promos that were cut this week. I know we discussed this a little bit in the group chat, but both sides trashed the other title. I feel like we could be heading towards another unification here down the road.
Which would be a bad idea. It's like you just separated them. Like, why? I will say this much, and I was thinking about this on the way going to get dinner. If you're going to unify the championships, unify everything. Take away the brand extension, unify the tag team titles, unify the women's titles. Keep the U.S. and the Intercontinental title, and make everything one show again.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. I'm with you because you remember when they introduced the second championship back when Roman was part-time, quote unquote, and holding the other championships. It really took them a while to build that championship up. You don't want to have to go through that again.
No, you don't. And you also don't want to fall into a spot back in, I think it was 2018 or 2019. We know when Brock Lesnar was Universal Champion, but then he was like never on TV. So people forgot about the Universal title. They were like the WWE Championship, like that's the title now. Like if you don't showcase your championship, people are going to forget about it.
Yeah. No, I agree. The only thing, and we can talk about this more probably next week when we have Jacob back, and it's something that I've noticed. We're doing a whole lot of title defenses with the other titles, and it's kind of watering down their value.
Yes, it is. You have to find that happy medium. Now, with that being said, we'll go on to our next topic, and that is Sean Rossi's Enter the Vault. So, take it away, Sean.
Yeah, so the first one here, we got February 7th. We have a Scott Steiner delivering a CM Punk pipe bomb promo. He actually went off on Ric Flair, said he changed the channel the week before to Stone Cold because WCW sucks, and so does Flair. And this was right around, I think, maybe 3 or 4 weeks before they actually wrapped up shop, because they didn't last too much longer in year 2000, right? Or it was a couple years after that. I can't remember the exact year, but this was towards the end of their whole, flaming show that they had going on there.
Yeah, and actually, I'm going to change the date on that one. It was 2001. It was 2001 that he delivered the promo, because a month later they actually wrapped up. That was when the simulcast happened between Raw and Nitro for the first and only time ever. And it was announced that Vince McMahon had bought WCW. Then they integrated in the storyline that Shane was the one that bought it, and that's what led into the invasion angle. But other than that, Scott Steiner, man, he's always been good for this. He's always been good for going unhinged off the microphone. He delivered the pipe bomb before pipe bomb was actually a thing.
Yeah, and I wonder if some of them knew who the buyer was going to be, and they knew they were. I know the last night they all knew, but I wonder leading up to it if they knew they were kind of trying out to see if they were going to get pulled up when the sale went through.
Yeah, absolutely. And so now for our next one, we're going to take this actually 2 years prior. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this one, Stone Cold, actually faced the gauntlet match, which we see here and there still. in this day and age. But he faced the corporation, the entire corporation: Shamrock, Test, Kane, Big Boss Man. Even a match with China was thrown in there. And then, of course, right at the end, he ultimately got screwed and got pinned by Vince McMahon. I think it was one of few McMahon actually times where he pinned him for a win. Um, but it was a Monday Night Raw, and it went up against WCW's Monday Nitro that night, which had Bret Hart lose to Roddy Piper for the U.S. title because he was distracted by comedian Will Sasso, which is just another one of the many WCW fumbles when you look at what was going on across the pond on the other show.
Yeah, it actually was a great transition on that one. Going back to the Austin Corporation thing for a second. Don't forget, Vince McMahon was the same one who last eliminated Austin, if I'm not mistaken, in the '99 Rumble to win it.
Yep.
So this right here was a string of things, and of course it was leading up ultimately to Rock Austin Mania Part 1. But no, this is very interesting because this was once again, this is a step up from the previous year because it went from Austin versus McMahon to Austin versus McMahon and his friends.
Yeah.
So with the whole corporation thing and the gauntlet match, that was cool. I still would have loved to have seen Rock somewhere in that match, but they weren't going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, even the names there, not Shamrock and Test so much, but the fact that he beat Kane in that match after going through Shamrock and Test, you kind of look at that and we're like, oh, wow, that did a disservice to Kane.
Yeah, it did. And then going to the Monday Nitro thing, also don't forget, this was the same company who, I think it was a year later.
Arquette.
I think you know what. Yep. David Arquette won the WCW title. That right there was it. That was it. If there was any nail in the coffin, that was it right there. And I get they were trying to promote the movie Ready to Rumble, but that's not how you do it.
No, and it's funny because I think I would still click back and forth a little bit when I saw the 3 cage match from the movie being used in the show, I was like, okay, that's it. They're finished. They don't have any more ideas. And that match doesn't really work for anybody other than the smaller guys. You can't have big guys doing too much in that match. But yeah, the fact that they had a comedian cost Bret Hart the title just kind of shows you, what they thought of the value of Bret Hart and didn't really use him properly. And Roddy Piper at that point was, very much so on his last leg of his career, and to crown him the U.S. champ, and he like you have here, he would go on to lose it not too soon after it to Scott Hall at Super Brawl and just put the title back into a different person on the NWO.
Yeah, pretty much so. I understand Piper winning it because he was going against the NWO, but the way that Hart lost it was meh. Yeah. So now let's go on to our final topic, and that is February 9th of 1998. Goldberg faced William Regal in his first big match. How about that?
Yeah, and I feel like this is the first of many times we would hear his opponent complain to Goldberg just kind of being lost in the ring. We've seen it with Scott Hall, even leading up to Goldberg's match with Hogan, where Hall was telling him, hey, slow down, like relax, you've got the crowd, like calm it down. But the match really became infamous because after the match, years later, Regal shared he basically had to call the whole match because Goldberg was like, hey man, I'm just lost out here. I usually just smash guys.
Yeah, and because whenever he does have his moments where he can wrestle, it's just it's not his thing. He's all power,
And he's not very good at improvising. If you go back and you listen to some of Nash's comments of the Starrcade match, where they had rolled up and Nash kind of just inadvertently caught his arm, but it was enough to look like an armbar, and Bill yanks out of it real quick. And it's like, you just should have sold it at that point because you guys kind of rolled into that direction. But he thinks, someone's going to get something over on him just being green to what's going on.
To what's going on, yes. Should it take him more work in it? Because it's not like he can't. He was at the power plant. It was Dwayne Bruce, Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker, who trained him and all. It's just he's been, like he said, I'm used to crushing dudes. You know what I mean? I'm all power. So you put me against a legit wrestler, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, no, and especially those matches back then with like Regal. I mean, even when he had, especially if you had Regal and Malenko in the ring, you knew we were going for like 10 minutes of standing back and forth arm bars and stuff. That was not Goldberg's thing.
No, no, not at all, not at all. Well, with that being said, this concludes our show for this week. Stay tuned for Monday Night Raw coming up here in about 10 minutes. Happy to be back and everything. Look at our Facebook page and also our Instagram as well as LinkedIn's if you have our LinkedIn's for our content from Super Bowl week all last week. And for the sports agent himself, I am the Sniper, and we will see you all next week for more Top Rope Talk. All right, and that's the show. All right, anything
Oh,
you
and
got?
it didn't stop us.
Oh, whoops. Haha. Bye, y'all.